Okay guys, so within this video, what I wanted to do was to give you a quick overview of the Visual Composer Builder and why it's so awesome and why we're using it. Pretty much, it's going to let us build our website even if we have no coding knowledge. It's a completely drag and drop editor, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, as you can see, in this section it says your name, your professional title. There's a divider here, and then it says this is a place for you to put more detailed sentence describing what you do. And then there's a button that says work with me. So if we go to the website that we've just installed and we look at that, it says your name, your title, the divider is there, and then the text, and then the button, work with me. Okay, so if I was to just drag the button above the divider here and then hit preview in the top right corner and then go back to the preview screen, I could see that the button has just moved to the top. Okay, so it's that simple. Anything that you change within the Visual Composer, for example, if I drag it back down, is going to appear on the website itself. Okay, so basically how it works is this is imagine it like a grid that corresponds directly to how your website looks and feels. As you can see, I've just moved the button and it's back into its previous position. Now, within the Visual Composer, to edit pieces, like we just mentioned, we can drag and drop them around, or we can edit entire page sections, or we can edit elements within the page section. So what you need to know is that there's page sections. As you can see, it says page section here. And there's a couple of options. So this little pen icon right here will allow you to edit the page section. I'm just going to click that for you. Let that load up. And then as you can see, there's a ton of options when it comes to editing the entire page section. Overlays, the opacity of the overlay, whether you want a sidebar or not, the minimum height of the page, the paddings, the animation. For example, if you just scroll to that area and you want it to fade in or something like that, you've got those options here. There's just so many things that we can do on the page section level. And then if you wanted to duplicate an entire page section, you can actually click this one right here, which is clone this page section. And if you wanted to delete a page section, you can delete it. Now, just like all the elements within a section are drag and droppable, so is the entire section. Okay? And the way that I've actually designed this personal brand website is I've created a section that's entirely for mobile. So this whole top section here only displays on mobile. And how I've done that, I'll show you, is if I go back into the edit section and I scroll down to the bottom where we have visibility for devices, this is only visible on phones at the moment. This second section, which is what we edited before, as you saw on our website, right now it's at the top, but that's because if we go into editing here and we scroll down, that's hidden on phones. So as soon as we get to the phone screen size, this gets hidden, the second section gets hidden, and the top section ends up displaying. So if I take this, I guess, tab I've got here, and then I make it smaller, whoop, there we go, check it out. As soon as we get to a small screen size, the website top section changes entirely. It takes on a different look. And the reason why I've done this is because I want my website to look as good as it can on both desktop and mobile. And I feel like as a marketer myself, mobile is extremely, extremely important. When someone sees your website, these days there's a very good chance they're going to see it on mobile. So I'm going to take this tab, pop it back in to here, and then go through the rest of this editor with you. So what you should know as well is that entire sections themselves are customizable in terms of how you want to display them. Now, as we know, this is our main section for desktop. It's the top, it says your name, your professional title, divider, and all of that. Now, at the moment, as you can see, there's a blank space here and the content pushed to the right side. The reason for that is because of the distribution. There's some presets here. You could have it full screen, 1-for-1, split into 2, half and half, more on one side than the right side, which is 2/3 plus 1/3, or split into 3s, which is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and 4ths, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? So any fraction of 6 you can have. At the moment, I've set to a custom one, which is I want 1/3 and then 2/3. And then here's your 1/3 and here's your 2/3. So what this allows us to do is move things around on the page, potentially split things separately up into different sorts of columns, and basically make things look exactly the way we want them to look. So let me show you another example. If we go to this personal brand page and we go to this section right here, you can see there's a point 1, a point 2, and a point 3 underneath the what I can do for you section. This is basically a place for you to talk about your offer on your website. And it's split into thirds because it's just a very powerful way to get a message across. Now, if I scroll down, I can see what I can do for you as a fancy title. And that's our title on our web page that you just saw. And if we look over here, we have a section, I guess a row that's split into thirds. One there, one there, one there. And if we edit any of these, if we can move them around or whatever it might be, they'll correspond with the website. So split into thirds right there. Now, the third thing that you need to know about when it comes to editing is there's, as we mentioned, sections, there's rows, and then there's elements. So that's a section. These are elements within the section. But if I wanted to, at any point, add something within this, I can click this plus button, and let's assume that I wanted to add a row. This makes an entirely new drag and droppable row. So I can add a bunch of different elements in here and then drag that entire lot around. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because we don't need it. But if I hit this plus icon, let's just hit that plus icon here. I want to show you all of the options that you have available to you within the Visual Composer. So as you can see, there's just tons and tons and tons of options available to you. Everything from Google Maps all the way to forms, to tabs, to an audio player, to countdowns, custom boxes, titles, fancy titles, full width slideshows, an LCD slideshow, which is basically like a LCD screen, and inside the screen you can have a slideshow, tables, tooltips. You know, on the content side, we've got all of this charts and round charts and call to actions. On the social, we've got Twitter, Facebook, Google+, contact information, Flickr feeds, Google Maps, as we mentioned. If you know some coding, you're able to add raw HTML and raw JavaScript to your website and make some really cool customizable stuff with the Visual Composer. We've got widgets that we can add, some general stuff like buttons, milestones, message boxes. Moving images is really cool because they're animated, they can zoom in and out. Loops, typography. So if we go to loops, there's a blog showcase. Later on, I'm going to show you how to add a blog to your personal brand website, and you might want to showcase that maybe even on your home page. So we're probably going to use this blog showcase later. And cool. So that's just a quick overview of all the options. Obviously, we can't go into every single one within this course just because they all, do something a little bit different. And if I was to do that, this course would be way too long. So what I encourage you to do is go ahead and add some of those items to your website at any point and click the preview button and then basically have a look and see what they look like. So as we scroll down to our visual editor, we can see that these are all the elements on our site. There's some padding spaces. I've basically built this from the ground up for you. Some of these padding spaces show on mobile, some of them hide on mobile. It's constructed in a really clean, simple way. Now, it might look pretty confusing at first, but I promise you, we're going to go through editing this website that we've put together, every little bit that you could possibly need to edit, and we're going to make it entirely our own, and we're going to do it on the Visual Composer. So that's your overview of the Visual Composer, and I just wanted to kind of give that to you just to make sure that you had a clear understanding of how it's supposed to work. Within the next video, we're going to go through editing the website. So I'll see you there for that.